usually I always wear a hat because it always the light gleams off my head. I couldn't be bothered today, you'll just have to deal with it. Hello and welcome to the Taliesin Antiques YouTube channel. Now, if you haven't been before, my name is Kieran Hughes Jones. I'm an antique dealer based in South Wales. I run taliesinantiques.com. That's my website where I sell my items from across the world, different time periods. I now have, just having a look, 371 items now available for sale. So head over there and just take a look because you're bound to see something of interest. Now, today's video, I'm going to talk you through the come-ins and the go-ins this week in my inventory. I bought a lot of new items. I've been very busy out there bringing new things in, and I've also been very busy selling this week also. So I'm first of all going to talk you through each item I bought. I'm going to show you it, talk about what I thought was good, what the quality is, what the age of it, if there's any more interesting details, maybe interesting marks or things to look out for, and I'm going to tell you how much I think it's worth. At the end of the video, we'll have a look at what's been selling and what's been hot, you know, what's been some good results this week. So, sorry, I just knocked the desk down, so there's a bit of a shake. Now, this is going to be hopefully interesting to you, whether you like your antiques and vintage and you just want to see some interesting items. You're going to see a lot of them. I'm going to show you that. If you are a dealer or if you're, do it on the side, any of that stuff, this should be some good ways to pick up some tips and hints, inspiration for things that you buy when you're going out in future. I don't know how long the video is going to be. There's a lot of stuff to get through. So yeah, if it's a long one, just either be on in the background, pause and come back to it. That's not a problem. This is it's just easy viewing. Hopefully, just seeing some nice pieces. So we'll get into it. Okay, so I've been buying from loads of different places. I've been going out to car boot sales this week. I've been to charity shops, antique shops, and I've actually bought quite a bit of stuff off eBay. So we will come to all that. Now I'm going to start with a lovely piece of furniture that I picked up and I was very happy with. So hopefully this should be okay to put in the shop. Here we go. So we'll do a little, show you the whole thing. As you can see, this is a lovely little wine table, and what I really loved about this was this, what looks like a burwood finish. Now in terms of age of it, I've got to be honest, I'm not too sure, and I'm sure some people will be able to help me if you are watching. Usually when I try and date furniture, I'm looking at the screws, the nails, because if they're machine made, that's a good indication that it's 20th century. If they are sort of hand forged, then that's a better indication of being older. I can't see any on this one just because of the way it's made. Looking at the carved details here, I mean, to me these look done more by hand than by machine, because of they're quite irregular. So even though they're the same pattern all the way around, they're not the exact same dimensions on the patterns, which indicates they've been done by hand. If this is an older, because it's a Georgian style one, so in the style of an early 19th century piece of furniture, I don't know if the wood would necessarily match up with that period either. This is something that really well-informed furniture dealers will be able to work out very fast. I'm not as it's not so much my area. But I buy stuff like this from my shop in an antique centre, which is in Cardiff, in the pumping station. Head down there if you're ever in town. But it's just a lovely piece. I really love this piece of furniture. Now, if it's an older one, it's going to be worth quite a bit of money as a piece of furniture. It's going to be worth, upwards of £200. This. If it's a modern reproduction, made abroad, a lot of these are made in South Asia as reproductions, then yeah, the value will come down to closer to 100, 80 to 100, because it's only a small table. But honestly, this is a lovely piece. Absolutely love it. Bought this in a charity shop. I think it was about 20 quid, if I remember rightly. But yeah, I love that piece. We'll stick with another charity shop item, so a bit of vintage pottery now. And it's Porcelain. Porcelain is a pottery in West Wales. Although it says made in England here. What's the story there then? I thought it was Welsh pottery. It says made in England. Now, look, it's a very popular Porcelain pottery. A lot of you will know this already. Easy things to sell because a lot of people love their designs. I don't know a great deal about it because it's not really my area. I like older things generally. Um, this is probably going to be, what, 80s, 90s, something like that. But I just bought it purely because I know there's a market for it. So I don't know the story behind the mark. It's also got the whoever designed it as well. What does that say? Susan Williams Ellis, Stoke-on-Trent. So I don't know the story there about what. But there we are. If anyone knows, please let me know. Why is Portmeirion showing it as made in England? I also bought these two mugs, and they all have different patterns. So that was a nice tureen. These are quite very large mugs. Yeah, both with all marks, but so designed. Also made in Stoke-on-Trent rather. Yeah, so I think altogether they came to about 15 quid. There's not a lot of profit in them. I think the terrine or casserole dish there will fetch the most money, of course. Probably, what, 25, 30 quid on that. Those two mugs, maybe 10 to 15 quid each. So I bought them to clear a nice profit in a charity shop. Let's do these. Now, a couple of weeks ago I did a whole video and I showed you a vase like this that I bought. Llangollen pottery, which is Welsh studio pottery, vintage again, but quite a nice design. You know, very tall. Now, I thought almost, I was blown away by this when I was up in Hay and Wye doing a video. I think that was possibly about a week ago. I went into a charity shop up there, and lo and behold, I found this one. So now I've got two of a very similar style. This is how you can tell they're done by hand, because this is slightly different. Even though it's the same colour glazed used and the same style, there is just differences throughout the piece about how the glaze has been applied. But yeah, I was quite surprised at that, because this one, when I bought it and I looked into it, I couldn't find a similar one online. There's a lot of Llangollen pottery that's being sold, but no, I hadn't seen any in this style and this size. Then I went and found this one. This one cost me a fiver when I bought it a couple of weeks ago. This one cost me a fiver when I bought it last week. So just very unusual. Happy to pay a fiver each. They're now going to be sold together as a pair. I originally had that for 50 quid. They're now going to go for probably about 80 quid as a pair. Yeah, even though a pair is more desirable, I'm just happy to sort of send them off and make a decent amount on that. Right, we'll now go to this piece here. It's a bit of Chance glass. The Chance brothers were mid-century glass makers. They were very famous making these handkerchief glass vases. Now I bought one of these a couple of weeks ago, and I put it in my shop down in the pumping station. I didn't put it online. I just thought I'd put it in the shop as a decorative piece, and I sold them in a couple of weeks for about 20 quid. I bought this at a charity shop as well. Probably paid about probably paid up to about a fiver if I remember rightly. It'll be in my record somewhere. And I'll hope to do the same with this, 15 to 20 quid. They're just nice pieces for the home. You know, there's not a massive, I found anyway, there's not a huge collector's market for these. Even though there should be, it's kind of, to me it's surprising that it's not, because look, they're well made pieces of art glass. They have different styles. They're vintage. Yeah, they're British. They have a lot going for them, but they just don't seem to have that market. But people in a shop, they'll just pick them up and buy them for the home. They don't need to know, they don't need to be collectors. They'll just see it and they'll like it. So we go, nice little find. Okay, well, I've got a bit of live incoming news now on Portmeirion pottery, so I thought I'd just go and check out what the story is there. As I always thought, it's Welsh, because Portmeirion is a village in West Wales or North Wales. And I was a bit perplexed when I saw it. I've never really bought this stuff before, to be honest. I just saw it and I thought, well, I know this market for it, I'll give it a go. And I just thought I'd just look it up because I saw Stoke-on-Trent on the bottom. Now here I went to chat GPT and just asked it, is Portmeirion pottery made in Wales? And here's the truth. Portmeirion was originally a proudly British company, and yes, it was founded in Stoke-on-Trent, not Wales, despite the name. The name comes from the Portmeirion village in North Wales, which was designed by Clough Williams Ellis, whose daughter Susan Williams Ellis founded the pottery brand in 1960, but the factory itself was never in Wales. There we go. I've learned something new there. That could well be common knowledge for all I know, but I just always assumed based on the name that's where it came from, but apparently not. Excuse me. We'll move on anyway. So these two pieces I bought in my last antiques hunting trip, which was in Hay Antique Market. Please go back and have a view of that video. For some reason, that video hasn't got as many views as the other ones. I'm not sure why. But yeah, go and have a watch. It was a nice little walk around, a lovely little town, a great market. And these are the pieces I picked up from there. So lovely Japanese cloisonné, little bud vases. Look at the amount of work. Now, I'm dating these, I think these are going to be around 1900. Now, I've done a video a few months back on dating and identifying Chinese and Japanese cloisonné. So just to give a quick overview of what that is. Cloisonné is enamelling on metalwork, and as you can see, the Japanese were, in my opinions, the best at it, and do lovely little pieces. Now, interestingly, these, and to be fair, they were sold as found. They've got repair on them, which I've not really seen before. I don't know how well that comes across. It might be quite dark in here. Usually I don't mind a little bit of damage on these. It kind of comes with the territory. The enamel's really fragile. Yeah, someone's done a bit of a okay repair on these, as far as I can see, which I guess is better than like exposed copper. So yeah, these are really nice. They were, yeah, they were nice little pickups. I expect they're going to be around just shy of the £100 mark because of the age, the quality. The damage brings the price down a little bit, but they're quite nice, those ones. Yeah, I'm not sure if how well that comes across. The lighting's not too good in here. Might be something to look at. Usually I always wear a hat because it always the light gleams off my head. I couldn't be bothered today, you'll just have to deal with it. We will move on. What else we got? There's a lot of Japanese stuff to get through. And there's some Chinese porcelain and things like that later on, from what I got off eBay. I got this up in Hay&Y as well. This was actually in an antique shop which is closing down. They think in the next couple of months. It's one that's been there a long time. I can't, to be honest, quite remember the name of this one, but yeah, they were telling me when they were there it's probably not going to be there much longer, which is a shame. It's a shame to keep seeing that with antique shops. But anyway, this was a nice little, very sort of cast brass goblet. And I don't know if you can see the motifs there. They're all peacocks and vines and scrollage all around it. I thought this was probably Indian. However, what interests me on this was this mark on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks like that's in Arabic, which is unusual to see. It makes me think that this is possibly of a Persian influence. So peacocks generally I associate with India, as most people will, because it's the national bird, I believe. And peacocks are featured very frequently on Indian art. But however, Persian works will also have this as well. And the mark being in Arabic, it could be Indian still, because I won't get into going too deeply. But obviously there are Muslim populations in India and later Pakistan. But anyway, that's a nice piece. That was £12. I don't know the value. It's going to require some research, but it was nice to find. Okay, I just had to cut the film because the call came through, but I was just going to show you this lovely pair of swans. Sorry, I went right to the screen then. There we go. Nicely turquoise glazed. And they're both signed on the bottom. I can't tell if that says Canada. Yeah, I think so. Canada MLP 189, and then something is actually signed differently there. So they were off a boot sale. I quite liked this sale because the lady said she looked them up online. They're selling for 40 quid on eBay, which is never a good start in a car boot sale. So I just always think, well, just sell them on eBay then, But to be to be fair to her, She said, but I know I'm not going to get that, so here, so you can have them for a £5, which I was happy to pay. I thought they were nice little decorative pieces. I don't know if they've got a big following and they're worth something based on the name. Just based on what they are, I think they've got to be worth 20 quid at least. They could be worth more than that. Another car boot sale find. This was probably about £1. You've all seen one of these before, I'm sure. So it's Foster's Pottery. There we go, all marked. Vintage pottery, 1970s, 80s. And it's called a gurgle jug. These are, you see a lot of this. I always get them if I see them because people collect them. And this is probably about 10-15 quid. Not a hugely valuable piece, but this is the thing. I don't often buy things that are worth like 15 quid. Usually that's not worth it to me. But I will take a risk on something like that when I know they're fast sellers. Same with the Porcelain as well. They're fast sellers, so they are worth it. There we go. Another card boot sale find. This was a couple of pounds. This is Japanese porcelain, eggshell porcelain. We'll see if we can. No, it won't do it there. Oh, that's all right. As you can see, it's all see-through. That's how fine the porcelain is there. You can actually see my fingers through it. Yeah, I love Japanese porcelain like this. I believe this is a Kutani style. Yeah, lovely piece with the original gilding. All in good condition. Nice teapot. That's probably worth. In terms of the date, I think that's probably early 20th century. Yeah, that's got to be worth at least £35-40. Couple quid at the boot sale. Oh, we'll stick on the Japanese theme there because I've got quite a lot of Japanese pottery as it goes this week. So I've got this pair of plates here, and these are porcelain as well. I'm not holding that one very well. There we go. As you can see, there's a pair. They a mirror. Now sometimes you see with Japanese pottery, when you get a pair, they can be mirrored. So if they were up against each other, they would be like looking at a mirror. This one isn't. They're just the same pattern. Now the style I would suggest is more Satsuma than Kutani. Now Kutani and Satsuma, they're styles of ceramic. Satsuma though is usually earthenware. Kutani is porcelain. They're different regions in Japan with their own history and their own style. Now these ones here, say they give more to me the Satsuma style. Yeah, look nicely done. I'd guess this is mid to early 20th century. The value I'm not too sure on these as a pair. I'm guessing they're going to be closer to around 40-50 quid. But we'll look into them. Now just as what I'm doing in these videos, I'm trying to give you little snippets of information, not going too deep. If there's anything you don't understand or you want me to elaborate on, feel free to leave a comment and ask a question. Now, one of the bit of snippets here is about the mark here. And that's not a mark I recognise and I haven't looked into yet, but I will give that a go. It's not a very distinctive one. But with Japanese porcelain and pottery, especially Satsuma, you do get this mark a lot of the time that I look out for, called the Shimasu mark. And it's a circle with a cross through it. And that's an important mark in Japanese pottery because it's related to the Shimasu clan, and they were in charge of a lot of different pottery factories in Japan in the 19th century and 20th century, and generally they are a good indicator of quality. So if you see that, generally that's a good sign. Now of course these things can be faked. Japanese porcelain is faked a lot less than Chinese porcelain, just because of the size of the markets are different, but anything can be faked if there's a value to it. However, it's a good thing to look out for. But I'll show you what I just dropped then. So we're sticking with the Japanese pottery. I've got a pair of these two large vases. Now this is Satsuma, where there we go. So a couple of Satsuma pottery vases. I got these in the car boot sale. The last pair I got a car boot sale as well. They were about a £5. These were a tenner. They've also got wooden stands. Now they're a good size. This is not a rare type of pottery from Japan. and these are very much made for the tourist market, this style. Again, these are going to be mid to early 20th century, but they're nice and they're in good condition and they're large. They've got a lot of style and decoration to them. As you can see, they've got these figures there are generally relating to the immortals, I believe they're known as. So the figural scenes. There we go. They were a nice pair. They were a tenner. The value of them is probably going to be around, again, you know, because they got the stands and they're a good size. It's probably going to be about 60 to 70 quid, I think. So nice little find on the boot sale. So this is what I dropped. They don't stand very well, these. So we go from Japan now to Africa, and more exact, I believe, West Africa. So these are wood carvings from, I believe, Ghana. I believe they're in the Ashanti style, and yeah, I think these have been applied later. These are not going to be terrifically old. They are going to be made for the tourist market. However, they're done by hand and they show a good representation of the family look. They're actually, you know, these are a pair showing the same scene, you know, the parents with the child. There we go. Again, I don't know what I paid for these. I must have paid about £5 for these as a pair. I don't know the true, I haven't looked into how much something like this would sell for, but my guess would be probably about 35 quid at least. African stuff can be surprising. So I got this for £1. We're back to Japan. This style, I believe, is Moriage, known as, which is where a lot of the decoration is kind of almost applied later and has almost a relief texture to it. I bought it because it's £1. It's not worth a lot of money, this one. You know, 20 quid, I'd say. But I got that in a charity shop. This is why it's good to know stuff though, which is unmarked. It could be worth a bit more actually, because there's a lot of detail and quality in that with the gilding. But yeah, I knew this based on the style that I've seen before, that I knew, yeah, I just knew this was Japanese porcelain. The charity shop wouldn't have done this because there's no mark on it, there's no indicator. They could have done a Google image reverse on it, but I don't even think that would have been that quite reliable on a piece like this. So it just goes to show why it's worth knowing more than what you find on Google image. The final piece, because there's actually a lot more to show you, but I'll show you this piece and then I'm going to clear all this away and bring in the other stuff over because there's only so much room on this desk. Now this was interesting. This was at a charity shop I go to quite regularly. And why did I buy it? Because look, it's an interesting green glaze. Somehow I just knew, just from, I've never owned this, I've never owned a piece from this pottery before. But I just knew, just from what I've seen around the place, that this was Icelandic. When I was walking up to it, I just remember thinking that. And lo and behold, it is. The mark is on the bottom there. There we go. This is actually a lamp base, so as you can see, all the lamp fit into there. It's not going to be, it's going to be a vintage piece. Now, the thing about this is I paid a tenner for that, which is a decent amount of money. Not expecting a massive return. I bought it just because I go in this charity shop a lot and buy a lot of stuff there, and I just thought, well, they're probably, I was interested enough to buy it. I just thought I'll just pay a tenner for it because I'll take it home and do the research and find out how much it's worth. And it's got to be worth at least a tenner, right? I can get a tenner for it, just put it in my shop. I can probably double my money, put it in my shop. So sometimes I will just do that. It's something interesting enough for me to just take a punt on. I say I buy a lot of stuff there, so I don't mind paying that money to the charity because I don't think they'd get £10 from anyone else for this, to be honest. And yeah, I thought I'd take a chance on it. I've done a bit of initial search, and online it could be a bit more, but it won't be much more. It won't be a huge profit for me, but it's worth doing sometimes just to learn a little bit more about something that, you know, it could be valuable in the future. Okay, we'll move on to the next phase of my items. I've just been moving a lot of stuff around and now I'm back. And I should say as well, before I go into even more pieces, the biggest challenge I have in my business at the minute is keeping up with what I'm buying and loading it and putting it live on my website for sale quicker. Um, so yeah, a lot of the items you see now may take some time before they show up on my website if you are looking. A lot of people have contacted me and said they've seen pieces in the videos and would like to know my price because they haven't seen it on the website. So feel free to just drop me a message in the comments. I leave my email in the descriptions as well, or you can contact me through my website and just let me know if there's anything you're interested in, want to get a price on. Just message. I can get back to you. So let's have a look at some more pieces then. So I'm going to start with this here. Here we go. It's a jug with a fish on either side. Very bizarre style. This is known as Majolica in style. It's English Majolica, marked on the bottom. That's a Shorter and Son, Stoke-on-Trent, made in Great Britain. The made in Great Britain mark tells you that it's probably going to be, well, it's definitely going to be a 20th century. It's not going to be any older than that. They wouldn't put that on any pottery before that date. That changed in 1891, when for export purposes you had to put the country of origin on your piece. So that's not, it's early 20th century, nice piece of Majolica. I haven't actually looked up I bought it at a charity shop, probably paid a bit more for it, the normal, like 7-8 quid. I don't know how much. It's probably going to be worth 20 to 30 quid. There's another charity shop find here. It's a nice bit of Bohemian studio glass. This would have actually just been like £1. I say this is why, another reason just to know your styles and know when something's good quality, not rely on Google Image Reverse. Do your research, get experience with different pieces. Because something like this, look, I'm not saying that because I think it's hugely valuable, but in a charity shop, they're not going to look at that as anything special. And that's why I got it for £1. It's actually worth about £35. It is Bohemian. Is it Franz Wells, something like that, or Waltz? Is the maker, and is known for this distinctive style. But yeah, nice piece of early 20th century Bohemian, which is Czech Republic glass. I would have got this in the same shop. This is just a nice jug. I think it's probably 50s, 60s, and it's just from that era. Yeah, it's just nice. It's in good shape. A lot of times these are chipped and stuff. And this is one of those pieces that could be reused practically again, and got a nice, yeah, got that green tinge to it. Cost me £1. It's probably, I'm not. It's worth £15-20, but these all add up, these pounds to 15-20. And look, I'm not talking about selling these items on eBay. Anything I'm selling below £20 will not go on eBay probably. They will go in my shop or on my website, and I won't be paying fees on them. I'll be getting the full amount, so it makes it worthwhile. So now we're going to go on some interesting Chinese porcelain pieces, and I got all these from eBay. Now the way I go on eBay is I have these searches that I look on, and I go through little phases. The thing is, I've changed a lot of how I'm buying now. I don't buy at all. I haven't bought an auction for a couple of months. I used to spend a lot of money at auctions. I've stopped doing that because I just found yeah, just too much, I guess, is the only way of putting it. At an auction, you do spend a lot of money. Of course, I've had some great buys at auctions, like things that have slipped through, some of my best, but they are few and far between. So because of that, I haven't got that outlet on eBay, on auctions anymore. I'm spending a lot more time on eBay. I'm looking to see if I can get things on there quite well. And I've actually found I've done quite well. I've bought some items at good prices. Again, they're not cheap. But I can make a good return on it. So I'm going to start with this porcelain plate here. This is Chinese. This is a late 19th century. I'll show you the rim, which is always a good indicator of the age. So there we go. It's a nice, yeah, it's a nice porcelain, but it's not of the same quality as you would get in the 17th, Kangxi, Chenglong periods. But this is a lovely export plate. And unusual. So if from Chinese porcelain of the period from Canton, which is possibly where this was made as well, but usually you get the famille rosé colours, which is more of a pink, a lot more pink enamel comes through. This is green, so suggests verte, so familiar verte, which is more of a green family, which is what that translates to. But there's nice aubergine colours in this one. It is quite overcrowded, there's a lot going on, but it's a very unusual plate. And so, yeah, I got this off eBay, probably paid about £40 for it. There is a hairline, which I don't mind too much, and I think a lot of people don't mind. If it's not, the thing is, these are not going to be used as plates, are they? You're not going to eat off these now. These are for display, so you can still display that very nicely. It's an unusual piece to put in your porcelain collection. I have put this up for sale. I can't quite remember how much I put it up for. My cut back, it's my internet's going really. My internet's going really slow, so I can't get to it. But I think it's about 140 with postage on my website. So this is one of the few newer pieces that's made it up for sale quickly on my website. So go and have a look at that if you're interested. So more Chinese porcelain, and I've got this lovely. It's actually quite heavy. This. Oh. There we go. So this is a Chinese porcelain ginger jar. A lovely piece. So there's the lid with its lid, of course. Fine porcelain. You got these again. They're verte green. Is the prominent colour here. You got this nice bird image. Yeah, this is made for export as well. They said late 19th century. I don't know if it's that old. I would probably say this is more. In my opinion, I think this is probably Republic, which is early 20th century. There's some bottom there. If you think differently, please let me know though. It's always interesting. I think the gold used is a later type of gold for the gilding. But that's a lovely piece. That was about 50 quid. I think there's at least double your money in there. A really nice piece of Chinese porcelain, very decorative. The lids are never solid on them because they made the lid separately to the vase, of course. So yeah, they don't generally fit on tightly. So more Chinese porcelain I've got off eBay. There we go, and the great thing is there's a pair. So many people recognise these. They're sort of lovely little Chinese porcelain pedestal dishes. These are Nyona Straits porcelain, which is what the pattern's known as. So this colour with the phoenix. Yeah, and then you've got the below decoration. There's a little bit of damage on these. Again, there is a hairline on one of them that you can see there. It is quite a strong one. But there we are. On this one, there's a tiny chip at the bottom there, so it just shows it's been glazed. Yeah, these are lovely. So these are late 19th century as well. Nyona Straits is referring to porcelain made for the Southeast Asian market, so just Singapore. That's a very popular style, which seems to be getting more and more popular. So quite happy to get them. And again, I think they came in around £40, and they will be at least a double my money on them. Very nice pieces. Now this is again an eBay find, and I was very happy with this. So this was sold as French porcelain ? So the seller didn't know what it was. Bought it for £35, and this is just a stunning piece of porcelain. It's got lovely, saucer, all hand painted, gilded. There's gilding around the edge there as well, all panelled. This cup is what sold it to me, and I was happy to pay the money for it. I actually think I got this for a steal. But look at that snake handle, look how well that's done. It's absolutely stunning work of porcelain. As I say, they said it was French ? Because there's no mark on this at all, anywhere. No damage to it either, in good nick. And I think they're probably right, it probably is French. You would maybe refer to this as old Paris porcelain, some 19th century. The fact it hasn't got any mark, I mean, it's got a tiny chip, sorry, I think I said no damage, there's a tiny chip on the back there. Again, to me that's superficial. Some people will care more, but I think most buyers will just accept that as just is what it is. Now I haven't looked at that actually, there is a mark. Aha! That is a very faint one though. Can you see that? Yeah, it's a kind of an indent mark rather than painted. That's going to help me identify it. That might be the Savrez, I'm probably saying it wrong, porcelain factory mark. I recognise that. We'll see. There we go. Lovely piece. The value will come from identifying it. If I told you it's a piece of old Paris porcelain, 19th century, there would still be, that's a triple figure piece of porcelain, I would say. Really lovely piece. You won't find many better pieces of porcelain than that. Still ringing beautifully. Nice little test to do for porcelain. See how fine it is. Bit of a dollar, so maybe it's because it's been drilled for some reason there. It's been a drill go through it, as you can see there, so that's kind of knocked the ring out of that one. But that's a lovely piece of porcelain. I thought I got a great deal. I'm not it might not sell for loads, but I think it's just for that price, and you're getting quality porcelain that good, you can't complain. Okay, I've got one more piece to show you today. This came from a charity shop. A lovely picture of a mother and daughter. This is Vietnamese art. It is actually a print, a limited edition print. It's got a mark there, so a copyright mark. It's a mid-century, what a lovely mid-century image. Now I bought this in the charity shop. They were asking £40 for it, which I paid. So it was quite a pen. I didn't look it up or anything. I had an eyeglass on it and I could see it was a print, not a painting. But I still thought it was just worth a go, because I thought, you know what, that's the type of image someone would love to have in their home. The colours, it's a big pastel scene. Yeah, really like that. Now I have looked it up, done a quick search, and there is a sold example of this exact print from within the last 3 years on eBay for 150 quid plus postage. So there we go. I know I can make a profit from it. And I just thought, if anything else, if I look it up and it's not worth that much, then I could put it in my shop and somebody would buy that for their home. A really nice image, really nicely made. Turned out to be a really good buy. Okay, so there are all the items I've bought in the last week. Now let me show you the items that I've been selling.
Okay then, so we'll have a look first at the sales I've had through my website. That's taliesinantiques.com. Here we are on the page now. You can see what I do when I do my listings. I have a full introduction into the item itself, sort of general area, description. I've also now added just a condition section as well, and a kind of call to action in why you should buy, just making it a little bit more enticing. A few bits of general information. The full terms and conditions come up when you put the sale through. You can just go to the bottom of the page and read them here as well. And as you can see, extensive photographs also. So these are the first sales I'm going to talk about. These Chinese soapstone pigs on wooden carvings. I absolutely love these. They're good size as well. So 9.5 inches in length, 6 inches in height. Yeah, just look at the amount of detail that's gone into them. Bespoke stands as well. Absolutely love these. They're early to mid 20th century, but regardless if they're not one of the older types of Chinese antique you get, they're still amazing things. They fetch £200. And now we're going on to the Sino-Tibetan gilt bronze figure of the Green Tara. I dated it, I think it was around 1900. It may have been a bit later. I don't think it was much earlier than that. There is some verdigris on there as well. Yeah, really nice piece, this one. And if you can get older ones than this, certainly if they're going into the 18th century and earlier, I mean, they can be fetching thousands of pounds. After that, they start to be made more regularly on mass. But I thought this was a particularly good one, and that fetched £100. So we sold a pair of South Asian masks, and here's one of them. So this one is from Thailand, wooden or gold leaf. Vintage rather than antique, so mid to late 20th century, but still very nice decorative item, well made, and I just love masks. Don't know what it is, something about them. Got like a lacquered finish as well. That fetched £30. What's the next one? and this is actually from Java. I think that's in Burma or Indonesia. I think it's actually Indonesian. So it's known as a Wayang Topen mask, likely Rowana. So that's a mythical um, being in the culture. And yeah, these were used, from what I understand, they were used in dance theatre. So I have a couple more of these available on the website. So these are the two they picked, and they picked particularly good ones. Nice and colourful, really interesting. Again, a nice vintage piece, and that fetched £30. Now I had one of these earlier that I bought this week. Another one to these gurgle jugs. This is different to the one I had. A Foster's one I bought in this week. This is from a Dartmouth pottery one. It got this green glaze. Yeah, very nice. Again, vintage, 1950s, 60s maybe. The gurgle jug, marked on the base. Nice colour, and that fetched £25. Now this one, I've got to say, this is one of the better things I've found in a long time. I actually bought this on eBay. This is huge, right? It's 49 centimeters, 19.3 inches in height. Now this is Japanese. We were talking about Satsuma earlier on. This is Japanese Satsuma. But there's something a little bit unique about this one. So you see the dragon there. That's that's relief dragon. So it comes out. Sure, can I get a better photo? And you can just about make it out. I probably should have got I should have got a better photo of that. You can see it there. That is just there coming out as a relief pattern. So that's an amazing part of it. What's also interesting about this one is the scene it captures here. As you can see, is a battle scene, and that's the old Japanese rising sun flag. Believed it was displaying the first Sino-Japanese war. It's all in the description here, which was in 1894 to 1895. So quite an important piece that they were honouring. I believe this, as a result, was probably made not long after, around 1900. So yeah, an amazing piece. And so I actually found this on eBay, and got it for a good price. It sold for £330. All these prices I just gave you do actually include the shipping as well. Um, but yeah, just some fantastic things on the website this week that have gone out, and have done really well. Just give you a quick show of what we put on the website this week. So I don't know why, but it doesn't use the text isn't usually this small. For some reason, it's just showing like that on this view. Maybe if there we go. See, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so a few new things on the website. So we've got these Staffordshire dogs that I showed in a previous video. Got some wooden signs there. Nice loving cup. Some globes. These are more kind of vintage pieces. We've got some nice artwork there. I think I talked about that in a previous video. Loads of nice things, interesting things I've been picking up recently, and they've all gone on the website. Some catching up I've been doing as well. Some lovely paintings here. Some enamel signs, Japanese porcelain, Chinese porcelain. I mean, we got a bit of this from the Philippines. This is Middle Eastern. You can see what I'm going for here. I've got a bit of everything. If you go on the home page, you can actually got all these different categories as well, that you can just go and have a look through. So you got the geographical ones, so Africa, Americas, China, Japan. Then you got art, ceramics. I've got this bargain pick, so everything in there is under £30. Yeah, so you can see a load of different categories to have a look through. There we are. Before I get sidetracked, we'll go now to my eBay sales. You have to remember with my eBay sales that they do take their cut of around 20 to 30% generally. But these are all sales recently then. Actually, this wasn't recently, this was a couple of weeks ago actually. Since I got it, I'll mention it. So Swansea porcelain, plated with the pink roses, 1820, had the impress mark. A beautiful piece of Swansea porcelain. There we are, lovely plate. I think that went for about 140 in the end with a best offer. Yeah, absolutely stunning piece of porcelain. This is when, Welsh porcelain was the best in the world. with Nangaru and Swansea. That's what an old dealer was asking for that. It kind of, I don't think they ever would have got that, to be fair. It's a lot of money for this plate at any point. But it goes to show that this, even Swansea and Nangaru porcelain is dropping a bit at the minute. I'm sure it will come back because the history is just incredible and the quality is second to none. What we got here then, so an ancient Chinese Han Dynasty terracotta figure. I think this went for £70 in the end. So this is, yeah, Han Dynasty going way back. I'm trying to remember if I got the dates and description maybe. Well, there we are, 206 BC, so thousands of years old. And they were burial figures. This is why generally they were quite well preserved. Yeah, but very interesting thing, very ancient thing. I achieved £70. This is a lovely sale. I love finding this. I found this in a car boot sale last year. So Swiss pottery, very rare. Sorry, battery's running out. Hopefully I've got enough to get by. Yeah, it should be fine. So it's a Majolica teapot by the Fawn factory, 1880 Edelweiss pattern. So yeah, this is a pottery I found more information on. So I found this in the car boot sale last year. Fun factory. Yeah, so there we go. Found a bit more information about them. So just a little known pottery in Switzerland in the around the 1880s. Very rare piece, and that sold this week. I think that sold with a best offer of around £95. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, really nice piece this. Now I bought this from eBay. It's a monochrome, meaning it's all been glazed in one colour, consistent all over. This, I knew when I was buying it as well, that this was going to be a Republic period. So not King Dynasty. This is going to be early 20th century probably. Nice porcelain around them in there. But these monochromes I know to be very popular. Um, Almost regardless of their age. If they're made nicely, actually not regardless of age. The modern reproduction ones are not very popular. Um, yeah, but these authentic ones made during the early 20th century and certainly earlier. This style, these monochrome Chinese porcelain monochromes go back centuries. There is a big market for them. People absolutely love them, and yeah, this one achieved, I think it's around £150 on the best offer, that would. So this was just an outright sale. I've had this for a while. So Czechoslovakian glass splatter pattern, as you can see. I think this just went for £30. They just paid it, if I remember rightly. But I've actually had this one a while. Yeah, in general, I do not really put many items on eBay around £30 anymore, just because it's not worth it in my opinion. I'd rather just sell on my website or my shop. But this has been on there for a while. And there we go. These are beautiful. So these are two Chinese silk embroidery panels. Yeah, absolutely stunning pieces. You can see the amount of work that's gone into them. That's all silk frame as well. Yeah, I knew it wouldn't be long before they would sell. I think they sold for about £150 on a best offer. There's some information on there. Yeah, absolutely stunning. I believe these were late King Dynasty. This is interesting. So this was an oil painting. I actually accepted an offer on this one, I think for about £110, quite a big difference from my original asking price. Yeah, this was quite an interesting piece. It was a 20th century, early to mid 20th century. I say the subject is interesting and the style of it is completely unframed. Yeah, really fascinating piece of art there. This sold recently then, so a Grand Tour bronze Ascot wine vessel, 19th century, late 19th century that'll be, Neapolitan, meaning it was made in Naples. And look at the cast in there, this was a really heavy piece. And it's based on Roman vessels actually that were made like this. The Grand Tour being in the 19th century. A lot of people went on tour around Europe and they would pick up these souvenirs and bring them back. So yeah, this was made as a souvenir, but a really high quality one. Yeah, what a fascinating piece of work there. That went for about $240, I believe. A couple more to show you then. Here we go, a lovely piece of Japanese katani. So we spoke about that earlier in the video. This is actually a miniature and it's sold for £90. Yeah, look at the amount of work you can get in a very small teacup, or sake cup rather. I was talking about marks earlier on. This hasn't actually got the mark I was referring to, but this is definitely a Meiji period mark. Yeah, beautiful piece of porcelain. This is an interesting one. So this is Wedgwood, Egyptian tortoiseshell glaze. It's a biscuit barrel, 1875. I was able to date that exactly. I think there's a mark. There we go. Is the lozenge mark? Is this known? This helps you date it to the exact date. You can actually look up all this information. You can see the exact date it was made. All silver plated, Majolica. Now Wedgwood are more popular, of course, for their jasper wares, but they made a huge amount. They have a massive range of stuff, and this is one of their styles. This was made actually during a period when I think they referred to it as Egyptian mania, when they were finding a lot of stuff in ancient Egypt, in the pyramids, and it led to a really big fascination with ancient Egypt in the Victorian era. So this is very much of its time. I think this achieved probably around about £140, accepting the best offer on it. This is interesting. So this is Republic period porcelain again. Qianjiang is referring to the type of glaze, and it's a cricket box, so they would keep crickets in here. It's actually signed, this one, by the artist Liu Diao Zhongling. And it's a garden scene with a lady, and then some floral accompaniments. And yeah, this is a very nice piece of porcelain again, and that achieved about £140. And I mean, hardly gonna end with a bang, but it's a decent enough sale. I've had these on there a while, just a collection of these stoneware bottles. Some of them you got is ink coming out of them. I think I just had them up there and someone just paid £20 plus postage for them. So there we go. Particularly good week, I thought, and there's plenty of good sales. So there we are.
Well, there we go. That's the video today. All the items I've bought in the last week and all the items I've sold. So a lot of come-ins and go-ins. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope it's been interesting. I've taken an approach where I'm just kind of talking through the items, and it's not scripted, a video like this. So hopefully it's easy to follow and you're getting some good information from it. But if there is anything that's unclear or you want more information on, or if you think I got anything wrong or missed anything, please leave a comment below and let me know. It's always nice to hear, and I appreciate that every time I read a good comment that helps me. Or just let me know what you thought of the video, if there's anything in particular that you liked. There's a lot of different items from different places and times and all that stuff, so I'm sure there was a favourite. Please let me know. Again, it's always nice to hear what people enjoy looking at. Look, and it's always good to, it's almost like a bit of market research for me, because if you're telling me there's things that you like, then it makes me think, if I go out and see them again, maybe I should pick them up. So that's what I get out of it as well. Hopefully you get out of it some good information, some good viewing, seeing some nice pieces. And yeah, if you're enjoying the videos, so you can help me out just by clicking the subscribe button. It's free to do. It just means that YouTube gets a little message to say that, yeah, this content is good and it's worth promoting. So appreciate that. If you can do it, just click the button, like the video, that helps as well. But I think that's it. The only other thing I'd ask you to do is visit me on taliesinantiques.com, have a look at my pieces, see if you can find anything that's nice for you and your home or your collections. And you can follow me on Instagram as well. I'm on there, and TikTok, Taliesin Antiques. You can't miss me if you search for that. That's everything today. Thank you again, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye now.